Glarry sent me a guitar. This guitar right here is the Glarry GST double humbucking super strat model in a tiger stripe black finish. I haven't tuned it yet. Glarry reached out to me last week and said, hey, do you want to check out another guitar? Because I had checked out a Glarry maybe 18 months ago or so, and I was like, yeah. But I want to show you what it would be like right out of the box, what you would get if you were to buy this guitar right now. Like if you were a beginner and you got your first guitar for, I don't know, Christmas. What it would be like to play that guitar. I've done no work to it. I haven't adjusted the neck. I haven't adjusted the pickups. I haven't tried out anything. There's still plastic on the back of the guitar. I've done literally nothing. We are gonna put this thing to the test. It sounds like this. Glarry is known for having very budget-friendly guitars, and this is no exception. This one goes for $129.99, usually $139.99, and it comes with a lot of stuff, as I found out when I unboxed the thing. Let's see what comes in this Glarry box. Lots of styrofoam. This little pick holder, which is sort of neat. This dust-covered gig bag. I mean, this is not really going to protect the guitar, but I mean, it'll keep it from getting dusty. So we got a strap, we got a couple picks, we got a whammy bar for all the dive bombs we're gonna do with this. And we have, you know, the cable that comes with everything. You get these backup strings. I don't know what brand they are. Comes with a clip-on tuner. We are gonna put this through the works. Does it not turn on? Do I need to put a battery in it or something? Come with a battery? This I am very curious about. It's a little amp that it comes with. It's a Glarry branded amp. It comes with a little panel description to teach you how to use an amp. That's kind of cool. And last but not least, can we get the drum roll, please? There it is. In perfect tuning. All right, now right off the bat, there's two things. One, this is super light, and the neck is super thin. The other Glarry I had, it was a very, very chunky neck. But this is pretty sleek. And I actually like the finish. This is a really cool veneer. It's not really playable for a beginner right now because you see how high that action is? Like, that's gonna be very uncomfortable. Let's go over the specs. So this is right-handed, comes in blue or black. I got the black model. Says it has 24 frets on their website, but if I can count correctly, this is 22 frets. 12, 15, 17, 19, 21, 22 frets on this guitar, not 24. Nut width, 1.656 inches. Scale length, 25.5 for all you Fender fans. Dual humbuckers. We have a tremolo bridge. We got a three-way switch. That would be this guy. 1/4-inch jack, and then this is the specs for the amp that it came with. 20 watts, has a gain, bass, treble, volume, and headphone. Those are panel controls, apparently. Bass guitar input, I don't know what that means. I guess that's just the guitar input. And then we go bass to guitar stuff. Basswood, is it basswood or basswood? Let me know in the comments. I have a maple neck and a rosewood fretboard. They say this guitar is 13.89 pounds, and I refuse to believe that. I think this is the lightest guitar I currently own. let's talk a little bit about the tones you can get out of this guitar. The guitar came with an amp. Came with this little 20-watt practice amp. And to be quite frank, there's a very good reason why I did not use this at all for the song demo, and this is the reason why. This is the Glarry Super Strat with the Glarry amp. I'm gonna turn everything up to, oh, that's noisy already. So that's with the volume on 5 and no gain, treble, or bass. You can see how the dirty channel sounds before I get some tone demos. Oh, I'm so scared. Yeah, I would not give this amp to anybody. This is not a good sounding amp. But let's have some fun. Let's turn up the gain. Oh, you hear that? This is not a very fun sounding amp. With beginners, I think the amp sound is super important because if an amp sounds harsh and it feels bad to play out of, said beginner is not I just said said beginner. That beginner is not gonna want to play that long because it's not gonna feel good. It's not gonna be fun. They're gonna be like, why does my guitar idle sound like this all the way up here and I sound bad? Yeah, Glarry, I'm not a huge fan of this amp. Having said that, when I ran this thing through bias, it actually sounds pretty good. Here's some clean sounds. Clean sounds. And then obviously we gotta do the dirty sounds. Some pros and cons about the Glarry GST dual humbucking Super Strat in Tiger Black Stripe finish. Tiger Stripe Black finish, that's what it is. Pro number one is this is a very cool finish. And I think for this price point, this is a really cool feature because I don't think a lot of guitars for, what is it, $129 will have this sort of veneer on them. That's pretty cool. It looks pretty nice. And like I just said, pro number two is the pickups sound pretty good. This bridge pickup is a little hot, and if you could see, it's not even that, like, high up. They got some juice to them. The neck is pretty slim. The other Glarry I got last year had a really thick, chunky neck, so this is kind of cool. And to my surprise, it held its tune a lot more than I thought it was going to. It didn't hold its tune all the time. It didn't hold its tune half the time. It didn't even hold its tune a third of the time. But it still held its tune a lot more than the Glarry I reviewed last year. Now let's talk about the cons, because there are cons with a guitar that comes in at $129. Granted, with an amp, so it's probably a little less without the amp. Glarry, that's the one thing. I would like to see this guitar sold without the amp and see how much that would cost. I don't think this amp is doing anybody a favor. This is less of a bunch of cons and sort of everything that works together, but You need to put work into this guitar. This is a hard guitar to play. The action on this guitar is very, very high. When you try to play faster runs or move up the fretboard, as you go higher and the strings get farther away from the fretboard, it is physically harder to play. That shred run at the end of the demo song took forever. There's a reason why I didn't really play anything super fast in that song. It's because it's very hard to do. The neck is not straight at all. The neck wants to cave in, or bow, or whatever the technical term is. And again, these are things that if you know what you're doing, and you know how to work on guitars and you want to modify guitars, it's not a big deal. Actually, it's quite a steal because you can get a really sharp looking guitar. But the thing is, if you're a beginner and you have zero clue how to do any of this stuff, you're going to have to pay at least half of what you paid for this guitar to get a functioning instrument. So if you're a beginner, just know that, yeah, you can get this thing to probably be decent, but you're gonna have to put a lot of time and work into it, and possibly money if you don't know what you're doing. As you saw in my thumbnail, the question in this video was, is this guitar a hunk of junk? And the answer is, not totally, but it's definitely not a guitar for brand new beginners. I would say this guitar is for someone who wants to modify guitars, they want to learn how to work on guitars, they want to set up guitars. It's sort of perfect for that, actually. It's cheap enough where you can afford to make mistakes and it's not going to break the bank. You can, screw up the truss rod, and it's a lesson learned. You won't do it again. That's what I would recommend this guitar for. I think beginners are going to have a lot of frustration with this guitar, especially because it doesn't feel all that great out of the box. And as somebody who's been teaching guitar since he was 16, a lot of beginners who don't have instruments that feel good don't last. And then it's up to you. Is it worth spending the $50 on top of the $120 to get the instrument set up and feeling good? That's your call. And then also you're gonna have to buy a new amp because this amp is awful. What did you guys think of this guitar? I think it looks cool. I think it actually sounds cool. And with the work I'm gonna do to it down the road, we're gonna bring this guitar into a total shred monster. So I already bought the stain for the neck. It's gonna be killer. That's the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.